Hey everybody, just waiting for T to join. All right, hi. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So now that I have you here, I just want to welcome everyone to this week's edition of Planty Talk with Flora Noir Plants. So let's dish all things freaking plants. Okay. So I know that it's been a couple of weeks since we got online, um, but I know that offline we've been doing some major woeing. Okay, all right, all right. That's the only corny thing I'm gonna say today. I promise. But we have some woes that we want to discuss
Yes,
with
we do.
people.
Yes.
So go ahead, T. What's been
Um, my biggest woe lately has been the spider mites.
yeah.
I shouldn't say lately because they have been a woe of mine since May, but things have really escalated lately to the point where
Mm-hmm.
why are you trying to ruin my life? So, I have a lot of plants outside, and my idea was to have a tropical oasis. And I started this in the spring, thinking that
Yeah.
by this time that
Yeah.
I will have South Florida in my backyard. And so I bought a beautiful tropical vine, and it came with spider mites. And it's been a battle all summer.
And
Every
spider
time I
mites
would
get worse.
treat, and I would think that they went away, they would come back. And for the most part, though, they somehow stayed on that vine. And I do have a lot of elephant ears outside, and those are like spider mite magnets. And somehow they never transferred until a couple weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
I'm losing the vine. I don't know if I can save it. And everything, everything outside got spider mites. So that's what I've been dealing with. I've treated with Avid. Um, I don't think I treated enough, and they came back.
Mm-hmm.
So I've actually been treating with neem oil. I went back to neem oil because it treats kind of for everything. Where Avid, I don't think that Avid treats for mealybugs, and I've seen mealybugs on that vine too. So
Wait,
I wanted
you've
to
seen
treat with
mealies?
something
Okay,
that,
mealies and mites.
girl,
Yikes.
girl. So, and I'm like, why don't y'all just fight it out and just take each other out, right?
Well,
But
that like makes sense. But like, do they just like work around each other? Like, because they're essentially feeding off of the same part of the plant. They're sucking the life out of it.
so yeah, that's why I went with a more general pesticide. So I went back to the neem oil, and
Mm-hmm.
I've been treating like every other day. I think I'm gonna do every 3 days,
Yeah,
and I've seen an
having a
improvement.
regimen is definitely important with working with the
Yeah.
mites.
So I've seen an improvement, and I feel like I need to keep it up for like a month.
Yeah, I was gonna say like that's what I always think to myself. I feel like you are not gonna see a dramatic change or have a dramatic impact on your plants. 4 weeks is like the standard set of okay, all right, 4 weeks. Let's see how things are going. If things are not improving at that point, let's start all over.
Yeah, and that's where I messed up. I thought, especially with the Avid, that I can just treat once and they would be gone.
Oh,
But it did work like that with my Monstera that I have. It had thrips. I think I'm saying that right because I used to say thrips all the time, and I think it's thrips. Um, and I treated it with the Avid just once, and they were gone. And
okay.
Avid isn't systemic; it will get into the actual plant. So I guess it has different effectiveness on different types of
Mm-hmm.
human organisms that are going to be on your plants. So
But yeah, so I actually recently have been having some spider mite struggles at home as well. Not as aggressive as what you've been experiencing, but definitely I've seen the little webs pop up on my elephant ear, and I was like, what the hell is all of this? Wait a minute,
no, ma'am. Mm-mm.
ma'am. So,
Mm-mm.
and then I'm my elephant ear is on my patio, so it's also outside, and I like started freaking out because I'm like, oh shit, all of my patio plants are about to go, are about to be under siege. because I'm so terrified because of everything that you've been dealing with. I'm like, I got to get on this shit like now. So
Yeah.
what I did is I did some, some research, as we like to do in our plant community, research it up. And I looked up a natural pesticide. And it's weird because the ingredients are reactive. So I, it kind of like it, well, not kind of, it basically makes an explosion before you use it, so you kind of have to like water it down like a lot. So it's vinegar, baking soda, some dish soap, and just distilled water. And so I've been treating my elephant ear and all of the surrounding plants outside with that. I did like a 3-day series treatment, and I've seen a dramatic reduction of the mites on the elephant ear, and I haven't seen any webs or webbing on any of the other plants on my patio. So I'm praying, praying, praying to the Planty goddess, Gaia, please protect my babies on the patio. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've had going on. Also, like, that what else was it? Oh, I forgot. It's no big deal because I forgot about it. But what else has been going on with your plants this week?
This week,
Yeah, or the last couple weeks. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's been 2 weeks since we plenty talked.
so this sad Justina.
Yeah.
So let me show you what happened. I have this in my living room.
Mm-hmm. She's
And
on a decline, though.
a long time.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you see this. You can see this. This was a stalk, and I was sitting at my desk because this is right next to my desk.
Right.
And I seen that the stalk had just kind of just fell over. Just fell over, just died and fell over. And it had been turning yellow for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
There's no pests on this that I can see. And it's kind of isolated from my other plants because of where it is.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I took it out. My instinct was to check the roots. And I took it out and I checked the roots and they look fine.
So,
What's going on?
it's just, so do you think that maybe it's just under some stress?
I changed the soil. I gave it better soil because it had still been in the original soil. I fertilized it.
Yeah, I was going to say fertilizing it and then just give it 30 days.
And then I don't know if you can see, this stalk is falling off. See, it's all bent over. So it's not improving. It might break off during this live. Actually, it just might.
Oh no!
It might give up. My new suspicion is that it's not getting enough light because it is a considerable amount from the window.
I was going to suggest possibly repositioning it somewhere where it's getting super, super bright direct light, because on my end, my Planty woes for the week. So my own personal disaster took place a few weeks ago, and so I've been rehabbing a lot of my plants, and so basically I've had to just cut them all the way down to nothing, basically to the root system and to just the minimum stem system, because there's nothing that there's nothing that I can do with them, and I can't throw them away because we don't give up on plant friends. We give up on them F-boys, but we don't give up on the plant friends. But so yeah, so like I have a few of them just kind of in sphagnum moss, some of them in like peat moss, like a peat moss soil mixture, so that it just like stays really moist. And so this is my boat lily. Remember the one that I gave you a clipping of? It was like completely destroyed, and so she's coming back, and so I'm so very happy for her because she was actually a gift for my birthday. So I've been really trying to take care of her like desperately. And so remember that little trash bag caladium that I had a couple of weeks ago, and I told you that she She just quit. She was just over for her. So she's coming back. So she's actually coming
Yay.
back, and the sphagnum moss is a lifesaver. So guys, if you have a plant that you're trying to rehab, definitely look into using sphagnum moss to rehabilitate that plant. It's gonna save your freaking life.
That moss works wonders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I know that something else that we wanted to talk about was some signs for when it's time to start over. And so, do you want to start like what do you look for when you're like, what do you see when you're like, okay, shit, it's time to start over?
So I recently had a wish list plant, and this plant was variegated Hindu rope that I wanted so badly. And I bought two. I bought one off of Etsy, and then I bought one off of Facebook, and I proceeded to murder them both. So what happened was all the leaves fell off, but they were still green. The stems were still green, they were still firm, and there were still roots.
Yeah.
So if you still see green and you still see firmness and the plant doesn't smell, go ahead, put it in water. Water rehabilitation is really the best thing for any plants that are in distress. Taking it a step further than the sphagnum moss. The sphagnum moss will revive your plants, but if your plant is really stressed out and distressed, go ahead and just throw it in some water and let it start to root out. And I had them in the window for a while.
Yeah.
And then one started to stink. Time to go. It was gone.
Right.
It had rotted. And then the other one, it wasn't green anymore. And it had got hard and it had got mushy. I mean, hard at the bottom, mushy at the top. And so I had to give up on that. So, but luckily, my dear Aunt Judy, who is on this live, she gifted me a new variegated Hindu rope. So I am very grateful for that. So I have a new one. Let's hope I do better with this.
Oh, thank you, Auntie. That's so sweet of her to do that. Especially that, like, that's one of your lusty plants. Like, I know.
Yeah, I so badly. I had 3 stalks and I killed 2. I still have one of the ones that I bought off Facebook.
Okay, good.
And so that one's still alive. I think my issue is with the Hoyas, I underwater. And I think
so I have noticed that with the Hoya, they are a little thirsty. They do need to be watered, like maybe like not heavily watered, but just like continuously watered a little bit at a time. Just, like every 3 days, just some water versus just waiting out the 7-10 days or when it's.
I treat them like cactus, and that's no problem. I treat them like cactus or like a snake plant.
Yeah, don't do that to the Hoya. It's what is it? What is the scientific name? It's like Carnosa something.
Yes, they all have different names.
Yeah, I like that. I was like, oh, I like that. Carnosa. It's pretty spicy, you know? And so let me think. Well, yeah, like I feel like those are the 2 biggest things for reviving, the 2 biggest tips for reviving a plant that's in distress is the water therapy and the sphagnum moss. From the water therapy to the sphagnum moss, your plant should be revived, rejuvenated, and refreshed. Hopefully. But don't give up. Always, always, always be patient with your plant friends. Give them light, give them water. They will take care of you if you take care of them. And we appreciate you for coming to spend some time with us and shining some light on our corner.
Yes, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
All right, until next time, guys. Bye.